Have you ever felt like you don't belong? Like your thoughts are too strange, your dreams too big, or your heart just wired differently from everyone around you? What if I told you that this isn't a problem? It's not something to fix. It's actually a divine design. Because you might be Aquarius. And if you are, then listen closely. You weren't sent here to fit in. You were sent here to change everything. Today, I'm going to share something that most people never hear in their lifetime. The 18 sacred gifts that belong only to Aquarius. Not talents you learn. Not skills you practice. But deep cosmic abilities that were woven into your soul before you were even born. Some of these gifts will explain why you think differently. Why you feel deeply but hide it. Why you love freedom, yet care about people you've never even met. Others will awaken parts of you that you've forgotten. And by the end of this video, you'll see yourself in a whole new light. But before we begin, take a moment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tap like if you're ready to understand yourself on a deeper level. And share this video with someone who needs to know that being different is actually divine. Are you ready? Let's begin. Have you ever wondered why your mind seems to work differently from everyone around you? Maybe you've found yourself thinking of solutions no one else sees. Or dreaming about futures that people laugh at. You're not imagining things. If you're Aquarius, this is part of who you are. Your mind doesn't follow straight lines. It jumps. It connects, it sees possibilities that others miss. While most people think step by step, you think in patterns, in layers. You can feel the answer before you can explain it. And that's not a flaw. It's quantum thinking. Your brain doesn't limit itself to logic or what's been done before. Instead, it processes multiple possibilities at once, almost like seeing all timelines at the same time. That's why you get frustrated when people ask you to explain yourself. Because what you know, you just know. Maybe you've had moments where an idea hits you out of nowhere. A flash of understanding that no one else shares. You look at a situation, and patterns seem to appear. Like life itself is a giant puzzle, and somehow, you already see the picture. But then, when you try to explain it, people don't understand. They look confused. Or worse, they doubt you. And in those moments, you start to doubt yourself too. But please, don't. What feels like confusion to others is simply your mind working faster than the world is ready for. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever been in a conversation and suddenly noticed a detail no one else saw? A small pattern of behavior. A shift in someone's tone. A clue in a conversation that unlocked the bigger picture? That's your gift showing itself. Your ability to recognize patterns beyond the obvious isn't something you trained. It's part of your cosmic blueprint. You read life like others read books. Not word by word, but whole pages at once. That's why you feel restless in places that don't change. Or frustrated with people who refuse to see what's coming. Your mind craves complexity. You're wired to solve problems the world doesn't even know it has yet. And yes, that can feel lonely sometimes. But trust this, what you see now, they will see later. Your pattern recognition isn't just intellectual. It's intuitive. You pick up shifts in energy, in behavior, in unspoken thoughts. You see where a situation is headed long before others catch up. That's why you often carry the burden of knowing. You feel the weight of potential futures, and you want to help people change before it's too late. But you don't only think in abstract. You're not lost in dreams. You have a unique relationship with something many people struggle with, technology. While others see machines, systems, or codes as cold and distant, you feel them differently. Technology to you is alive. It speaks to you in a language you don't need to learn. You instinctively know how to navigate it, how to adapt to it, how to shape it. Have you noticed how quickly you pick up new tools? or how easily you adapt when others are overwhelmed by updates, new platforms, or new systems. It's not luck. It's your technological empathy. Think about the last time someone asked you for help setting up a device. Or when friends came to you because they were stuck with something online. You didn't need a manual, right? You just felt your way through it. That's not just intelligence. It's intuitive understanding. It's because you see technology not as something separate from humanity, but as an extension of human evolution. You're not afraid of what's next. You're curious. You're open. You're already thinking about how it can be improved, how it can help, how it can connect people rather than isolate them. But here's the twist. Most people assume that thinking in advanced ways means you're disconnected from real life. They see your ideas and assume you're living in your head. But they don't see the bigger picture. Your relationship with time itself is different. For you, the past, present, and future aren't three separate things. They're layers happening all at once. You feel tomorrow while living today. You sense shifts before they become visible. Sometimes you know something's about to change, without knowing why you know. Have you ever felt anxious without reason? Or hopeful about something with no proof? That's your time perception working beneath your awareness. It's why you feel trapped in slow environments. Why waiting frustrates you. You're tuned into a faster rhythm, a different frequency. The world feels slow, because your mind lives partly in the future. Now, why does all this matter? Because knowing this about yourself changes how you live. It helps you forgive your impatience. It helps you honor your ideas. It reminds you that your differences aren't flaws, they're instructions. You were built this way for a reason. Your quantum mind, your pattern recognition, your bond with technology, your layered sense of time, they are not accidents. They are tools. So when people misunderstand you, remember this: you're not supposed to fit their pace. You're here to prepare the path ahead. You're not strange. You're strategic. You're not lost. You're leading. And every time you trust your own thoughts, every time you act on those intuitive ideas, you fulfill the purpose you were born with. Because Aquarius, you are the future. And the future needs you to be exactly who you are. Let's pause for a moment and talk about your emotions. Not the kind people easily see, but the quiet ones inside. The way you feel when no one is watching. Have you ever noticed how you care about people more than you show? You feel their pain. You notice their struggles. Even strangers can stir something deep inside you. But you don't always express it. And that's not because you're cold. It's the opposite. Your emotions run so deep, so wide, that if you allowed yourself to feel them all at once, it would overwhelm you. So you protect yourself. You step back. You detach. Not to escape love, but to manage it. Because Aquarius, your heart wasn't designed to love just one person. Your soul feels the whole world. Maybe you've found yourself awake at night, thinking about people you've never even met, or worrying about problems in places you've never been. That's not strange. It's your empathy working silently. You carry humanity in your chest, but you express it differently. Your empathy isn't loud. It's quiet. It's in the actions you take, not the words you speak. And that's something many people misunderstand. They think empathy always looks soft, always looks emotional. But for you, it's practical. You help where you can. You offer solutions. You try to change systems, not just soothe symptoms. And that is your emotional objectivity at work. You don't let emotions control you. But that doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you've learned to step back, to see clearly before you act. This emotional detachment isn't a flaw. It's a survival tool. It's how you balance the weight of caring so deeply, without losing yourself in the process. Think about the last time someone came to you, overwhelmed by their own emotions. While others panicked, you stayed calm. You listened. You offered perspective. Maybe you even surprised yourself by how steady you felt. That's your gift. You can see the problem and the solution at the same time. Because your heart and mind work together. But here's something you might not have realized. That calm exterior you show the world, it's not the absence of emotion. It's the result of mastering it. You've learned, often without knowing it, how to hold space for yourself. You know how to step back. To breathe. To think. While others cling to relationships to feel safe, you've discovered a deeper truth. You can stand alone and still feel whole. Does that mean you don't need people? Of course not. You love connection. But you don't lose yourself in it. You've learned that true love doesn't chain you. It frees you. You're the friend who gives space without judgment. The partner who trusts without controlling. The soul who shows up, not because they have to, but because they choose to. And in a world that often mistakes independence for distance, you teach the rare lesson that freedom can be love too. That's why your relationships often confuse people. They're used to constant attention. Constant reassurance. But you don't work that way. You value connection, but you value your inner world just as much. And that's not selfish. It's healthy. It's sacred. It's something many people wish they had. Now, let's talk about curiosity. You've probably noticed it already. That constant hunger to learn, to explore, to ask questions no one else thinks about. Your curiosity isn't a hobby. It's a compass. You're not just curious about facts. You're curious about people. About why things are the way they are. About how they could be different. Have you ever sat in silence? Watching people, noticing patterns in their behavior? Wondering why they choose what they choose? Or why society teaches certain rules but ignores others? That's your curiosity guiding you. It pulls you toward deeper truths. It makes you question systems most people accept without thinking. And here's why that matters. Because curiosity is the first step to change. Every question you ask opens a door. Every doubt you feel shines a light into a dark corner. You're not just learning for fun. You're learning to grow. To understand. To lead. And sometimes, that curiosity takes you inward. You question yourself. You analyze your thoughts. Your reactions. Your fears. You reflect, not because you're lost, but because you're searching for alignment. That's the difference. Most people fear self-examination. But you embrace it. Because you know, the more you understand yourself, the more you can help others understand themselves too. But there's one more thing your curiosity does. It leads you to solitude. Not loneliness. Solitude. Time alone is sacred for you. It's not a punishment. It's a retreat. A place where your ideas can grow. Where your emotions can breathe. Where your soul can remember its purpose. Maybe you've felt guilty about this in the past. Like needing space means something's wrong with you. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't. Solitude is where your magic happens. It's where your mind rests and resets. It's where your next big idea is born. So when you feel the pull to step back, honor it. That's not isolation. That's preparation. And while others chase constant connection, constant noise, you already know a secret. Growth happens in silence. Clarity is found in stillness. And freedom begins within. Now, you've learned about the mind of Aquarius. About the heart that feels quietly but deeply. About the curiosity that never stops asking, and the solitude that isn't a weakness, but a source of power. But the most profound truths? The most controversial revelations? They're still waiting. Because in the next part of this video, you'll discover the 3 final gifts of Aquarius. And they will change the way you see not just yourself, but your entire role in this world. Let's talk about something many people never realize about you. Your resistance to rules. Your discomfort with fitting in. Your natural urge to challenge what's expected. Maybe all your life, you've been told you're rebellious, difficult, hard to control. But what if that's not a flaw? What if your discomfort isn't rebellion, but guidance? You were not made to follow pre-written paths. You were born to question them, to break the molds that limit others. Have you ever been in a situation where everyone accepted the rules, but you felt something inside you say, no? Maybe it was a job that drained your soul, a relationship that felt too small for your spirit, a system that treated people unfairly, and everyone looked away except you. That voice inside you, that discomfort, was not anger. It was purpose. Because Aquarius, you were designed to disrupt, but not to destroy, to rebuild. You're not here to cause chaos. You're here to challenge comfort zones that no longer serve growth. You've felt it before, when everyone else was fine with the way things are. But you couldn't settle. You couldn't be silent. And sometimes, that made you feel like an outsider. Like no one understood why you couldn't just accept life like everyone else. But listen carefully. That discomfort is your sacred fire. It's what makes you walk away when something feels wrong. It's what pushes you to speak up when silence feels like betrayal. And yes, it can be lonely. People might misjudge your intentions. But remember this, your refusal to conform is not rejection. It's protection. You're protecting your soul from shrinking. You're protecting your truth from being silenced. And your story doesn't end there. Because that same energy that makes you question the world also gives you the power to heal it. You're not just a challenger. You're a builder. An innovator. Someone who sees new ways when others see dead ends. Maybe you've noticed this too. You're drawn to ideas that don't exist yet. Solutions that people say are impossible. You don't just think outside the box. You remove the box completely. And what you create from that space is extraordinary. But creation isn't always easy. Is it? Sometimes your ideas are so far ahead that people can't understand them. You try to explain, but they look confused. They tell you it's unrealistic. That it's not how the world works. And in those moments, doubt creeps in. But please, don't listen to the doubt. Don't let it win. Remember, every invention, every breakthrough, every change the world has ever seen, started as an idea someone called impossible. You are that someone now. The world needs your ideas. Even when they don't understand yet. Especially then. Because what feels like rejection is often just delay. Your ideas are seeds. They need time to grow. But you are the one who plants them. And that, Aquarius, is a role few people can carry. Now let's look deeper. Beneath your mind. Beneath your innovations. There's a heart many people don't see. A heart that beats not for fame, not for personal power, but for humanity. It's easy to assume that you're detached. That you don't care. But the truth is, you care too much. Your compassion isn't loud. It's not performative. It's quiet. It's steady. It's real. Have you noticed how you feel responsible for people you've never even met? Or how you worry about problems bigger than yourself, like the environment? Social justice, global conflicts, when others are focused only on their small world? That's your humanitarian soul. You're wired to care beyond your personal circle. To think of the collective. To feel connected to people whose names you don't even know. And that's not a burden. It's your mission. You don't seek recognition for your kindness. You don't need applause. You help where you can, quietly, often when no one's looking. That's what makes your compassion sacred. It's not about ego. It's about service. About doing what's right, because it's right. Not because someone's watching. But here's something important. Your compassion doesn't always look like softness. Sometimes, it looks like challenge. You challenge people to grow. You challenge systems to change. You refuse to accept what's broken. And that, too, is love. The world often mistakes kindness for agreement. But your kindness is honest. You won't agree with what hurts humanity. Even if that means standing alone. And yes, you've stood alone many times. In conversations. In decisions. In life. You felt like the only one who sees what's wrong, the only one trying to change it. And that loneliness can feel heavy. But know this, your solitude doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're first. The first to see. The first to act. And what about your curiosity? It never stops. Does it? You don't just question systems. You question life itself. Why are things this way? Why do people follow rules without thinking? Why does society reward conformity more than authenticity? Your mind isn't satisfied with surface answers. You dig deeper. You explore. You challenge even your own beliefs. And that's where your power grows. Because curiosity is more than a habit for you. It's a way of life. It's what keeps you moving forward when others stay still. It's what allows you to grow while others remain stuck. And it's what makes you dangerous to stagnation. Because as long as you're curious, you're free. Every question you ask is a door opening. Every new idea you chase is a step out of the limitations others accept. Never stop questioning. Never stop exploring. Because curiosity is how you change the world. Now, take a breath. You've just walked through the deeper layers of your soul. Your resistance to conformity. Your power to innovate. Your silent compassion for humanity. Your endless curiosity. But what comes next is even more powerful. Because the final 3 gifts of Aquarius are not just rare. They are sacred. They hold the truth about your cosmic purpose. And perhaps, the reason why you were born so different from everyone around you. Get ready. What you're about to discover might change how you see your entire life. Have you ever wondered why you're always drawn to people, ideas, and places others avoid? Why you find beauty in what most call strange? There's a reason. You're not chasing the unusual for fun. You're searching for truth. Real truth often hides in the places people are too afraid to look. And you, Aquarius, were born with the courage to look. Think about your life. Have you noticed how you're naturally pulled toward the misunderstood? The outsider in the room. The concept that sounds too radical. The art that looks too strange. While others pull back, you lean in. While others judge, you're curious. It's not rebellion. It's intuition. You understand, even if silently, that what's different often holds the key to real growth. You feel it. That vibrational pull. That spark of interest when something doesn't fit the norm. You don't reject it. You explore it. And there's a reason you do. Deep inside, you know that life isn't supposed to be a straight line. It's meant to be a journey through the unexpected. Through the unknown. That's why people sometimes call you weird. Or distant. Or hard to understand. But you're not any of those things. You're simply brave enough to follow your inner radar, even when it leads you where no one else wants to go. And you don't just accept the strange. You celebrate it. You see the soul hiding beneath what others label as broken or wrong. You embrace the outcast. Not to fix them, but to recognize their worth. That's one of your most sacred gifts. You remind people that difference is not a problem. It's power. That being misunderstood is not a punishment. It's often a sign you're ahead of your time. But loving the unusual isn't the only way you stand apart. It's also in how you love yourself. Most people depend on others to feel whole. They need constant validation, attention, approval. But not you. You've learned something rare. Something many never discover. You've learned how to stand alone without feeling lonely. That's not easy. It takes years of silent battles. Quiet nights where you wondered if you were too distant, too cold, too disconnected. But with time, you realized your emotional independence isn't distance. It's strength. While others lose themselves in relationships, you remember who you are. While people mold themselves to please others, you stay centered in your truth. And that's something to honor. Because loving without needing is one of the hardest lessons in life. You don't seek attention. You radiate presence. You give space without withdrawing love. And when someone earns your trust, they know it's real. Not out of need, but out of choice. But don't mistake your independence for a wall. You're not afraid of connection. You simply refuse to sacrifice your soul to get it. You know that true love, whether friendship, family, or romance, should never cost you your freedom. And when you love from that place, you teach others how to love themselves too. Now think for a moment. Have you noticed how your mind doesn't see opposites as enemies? Where others choose either logic or emotion, you choose both. While people argue between science and art, you blend them. You don't fear contradiction. You understand that life isn't black and white. It's all shades of complexity. And instead of avoiding that complexity, you create within it. Your mind works like a bridge. You see connections where others see separation. You find harmony between things that seem impossible to merge. That's why you can explain emotions with logic. Or find spiritual meaning in technology. Or bring structure to chaos without losing creativity. People don't always understand how you do it. They see opposites. You see possibilities. They build walls. You build doors. This gift, this ability to unite opposites, isn't something you learned. It's something you were born with. And it's something the world desperately needs. Because right now, people are divided. Between beliefs. Between ways of thinking. Between what they feel and what they know. And you hold the key to healing that. You don't force people to choose sides. You show them how to weave their contradictions into something beautiful. Something real. That's why conversations with you feel different. People leave not with answers, but with new perspectives. Not with instructions, but with clarity. Your way of thinking helps others see that maybe, just maybe, they don't have to choose. Maybe both sides can exist. Maybe the truth is found, not at the extremes, but somewhere in the middle. And that is where your wisdom lives. In the middle. Between worlds. Between ideas. Between contradictions that you don't reject, but embrace. Finally, let's talk about your relationship with technology. Not everyone will understand this. But you do. You've always felt it. That strange ease when dealing with machines. Systems. Digital spaces. While others struggle to adapt, you flow. While people see complexity, you see structure. While they fear the future, you move towards it. It's not just intelligence. It's intuition. You don't just use technology. You feel it. You understand where it's going. How it's changing the world. And most importantly, how it can help people. Because for you, machines aren't cold. They're tools for connection. You don't fear AI. You don't reject innovation. You sense its potential. Not just to improve lives, but to heal the world's disconnection. Maybe that's why you're always among the first to adopt new trends. Or why people come to you when they don't understand the latest tool. You're not trying to be futuristic. You simply are. You're already living in the next version of reality, guiding others forward. But remember, this isn't just a personal skill. It's a mission. The world needs people who can humanize technology. Who can remind us that behind every screen, every code, every system, there are human souls. You are one of those people. You are the link between progress and purpose. Between digital and human. So next time someone calls you too focused on tech, smile. And know that your connection to the future is how you'll help shape it. Now, you've learned about your love for the unusual. Your deep emotional independence. Your rare gift of connecting opposites. And your intuitive understanding of the digital world. But your story isn't over. Because the final 3 gifts of Aquarius will reveal something even deeper. A truth that's both powerful and controversial. What you're about to hear next might challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself. Let me ask you something simple but powerful. Have you ever felt like your voice didn't belong? Like when you spoke your truth, people just didn't understand. Maybe you've tried to explain your ideas, your dreams, your feelings, and no matter how clearly you spoke, it felt like your words were from another planet. That's not a coincidence. It's not a flaw. It's one of your rarest gifts. Aquarius, when you speak, you're not just using words. You're transmitting energy. People don't just hear you. They feel you. Your thoughts carry a frequency that's different. It's future-oriented. It's abstract. And sometimes, it's too advanced for the moment you're speaking in. That's why people often pause after your conversations. Not because they disagreed, but because they're processing. Something in your words unlocks a door they didn't know existed. And your silence? It speaks too. Your presence lingers even when you say nothing. People feel your energy shift the room, though they can't explain why. You might have felt isolated because of this. You might have wondered why people listen but don't always respond. But remember, it's not that your message is lost. It's that your message arrives before they're ready to receive it. And that's okay. Because part of your role is to plant seeds. Seeds that will grow long after the conversation ends. You don't need to explain yourself to be understood. You just need to speak from your truth. Whether it's with words, with art, with actions, or even with silence. Your communication style is unique. And that's not something to fix. It's something to honor. Keep expressing your ideas. Keep trusting your way of speaking. Because every message you share reaches exactly who it needs to. And now, the final piece of your cosmic puzzle. Have you ever asked yourself why you always imagine a world different from the one you live in? Why you dream of societies without injustice, communities without limitations, love without conditions? Why you keep picturing a better world, even when people call you naive? Here's the truth. Your utopian thinking isn't unrealistic. It's divine. You were born with a vision inside your soul. A blueprint of what humanity could become. That's not fantasy. That's your mission. While others settle for what is, you carry the responsibility of imagining what could be. You're the one who refuses to accept injustice as normal. You're the voice asking why not, when everyone else says that's just how it is. But this vision can feel heavy, can't it? You see what's possible, but also see how far the world is from reaching it. And that can hurt. It can make you feel like your hope is a weakness. Like you're chasing something no one else believes in. But Aquarius, don't give up on your dreams. They're not yours alone. They're collective dreams, carried through your soul. Every time you imagine a better world, you're helping to build it. Even when people laugh at your ideas. Even when nothing seems to change. Keep imagining. Keep creating. Keep believing. Because your vision of a utopia is not just for you. It's for all of us. And maybe that's why you've always felt different. Not because you're broken, but because you're already living in the future, trying to lead us there. So now, let's pause. You've learned that your strange way of thinking, your emotional independence, your quiet compassion, your curiosity, your bond with technology, your love for the unusual, your futuristic communication, and your unshakable hope for a better world, they're not coincidences. They're your sacred design. Being Aquarius isn't just your zodiac sign. It's your soul's blueprint. Maybe you've doubted yourself before. Maybe you've felt too distant, too different, too ahead of your time. But now you know. You're exactly who you're meant to be. And the world needs you, exactly as you are. So, if you heard your own story in these words, if you felt a part of yourself awaken while listening, remember this. You're not alone. There's a whole universe inside you. And a whole future waiting for you to shape it. If this message spoke to your soul, subscribe to the channel. Not because you have to, but because here, you'll always be understood. Like this video if it helped you see yourself more clearly. And share it with someone who needs to remember that their difference is divine. And this is just the beginning. In the next videos, we'll explore the hidden layers of your cosmic purpose, and how you can turn your vision into real change. So stay curious. Stay kind. And most of all, stay different. Because being different is exactly why you're here.